Today is June 6th. Welcome on into Daily Cards Live here on ClavesOnline.com. I'm Joe Roderick, joined alongside by Bob Ramsey and Rammer. We're brought to you each and every day by Munganast, St. Louis Acura, and Royal Banks of Missouri. Cardinals win yesterday in the finale against the Astros, second series in a row that they were able to at least salvage one win out of the series, now losing two in a row. Phillies lose 2 out of 3 to them, lose 2 out of 3 to the Astros. But hopefully all of that changes tonight as they welcome into town the Colorado Rockies. Rammer, is it too much to ask for a 4-game sweep?
Yes.
I'm asking for a 4-game sweep.
Would you bet it?
Can I go each game individually?
Yeah, but you're not going to end up with 4 W's. That's just not how baseball is.
I mean,
work that way. Now, if you're going to,
I don't want to be like Tucupita Marcano, but I mean, I'm willing to bet on baseball this weekend, Rammer, if it's needed.
Then bet 3 out of 4. Actually, bet the split, but bet 3 out of 4. Be optimistic and bet 3 out of 4.
Okay. Well, we have a show again tomorrow, but we'll revisit my betting habits come Monday on on Daily Cards Live. Rockies 21-40 on the year. The Cardinals' schedule this next week is very favorable after hitting a little bit of a rough patch after being one of the hottest teams in baseball going into Philadelphia. So this is much needed this weekend, hopefully, for the team. Yeah,
and hopefully your position players can stay healthy. I am a little concerned about Mason Wynn. The prescribed days off, something seems hinky to me there. I'm probably too much of a conspiracy theorist. And maybe they don't want to say his back is really bothering him and we got to try and steal some rest for him. They don't want to say that. And if it turns out that that's the case, I can accept that. But with the zero information we get, other than this was a planned day off, which I don't accept. I don't think it's a good plan. When you were 22, how old are you now, Joe?
39.
Okay. So how many days would you need? When would you need more days off, at 39 or 22?
I needed maybe a couple hours off when I was 22 to if it comes to playing back-to-back games, things like that. Played a softball game a few weeks ago, and I still feel like parts of my body are hurting from it. So yeah, I get what you're where you're going with that.
And so I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong. They're probably doing something right. I just can't figure out exactly what it is unless it's a back.
And I'm not saying, by no means am I saying that Brandon Crawford could step in and give you exactly what Mason Wynn has been giving you this year, but he has started twice now in the last week, has gone 3 for 6 in those 2 games with a home run and a double. So Brandon Crawford has not played a whole lot this year, is used to playing much, much more in his career. Maybe if you give him a couple days or give him a handful of games over the next 10, maybe you do get to see a little bit of 2021 Brandon Crawford out there on the field and pick up the offense, or at least pick up a little bit of the slack that you lose with Mason Wynn getting some rest.
Everything you say is logical, except the Mason Wynn part. There's tons of guys underperforming. You can find at bats for Crawford. It doesn't have to be at the expense of your best player.
And that's Brandon Crawford played shortstop, nothing but shortstop for the San Francisco Giants. You and I sat here many times over the last 3 years wondering why the Cardinals refused to put Paul DeJong at second, at third, maybe even at first at certain points when they had the chances to, especially last year in spring training. So I don't see them going to Brandon Crawford and saying, hey, you've played shortstop your entire life. Your number is probably going to be retired by the Giants. Hey, why don't you go take a few ground balls at second for us tonight?
No, you play him at DH. You don't have a DH.
Okay. I mean, if that's, yeah. And are you saying just to keep him fresh and then
No,
that way
you
you're.
were saying that. I'm
I'm talking
placating
about.
you.
I'm talking about keeping Mason Wynn's back healthy or keep Mason Wynn healthy if there is an issue.
So you're assuming, despite no information to that effect, that it's because of his back.
Yeah, pretty much. I think after not playing for 12 days, now you're seeing Brandon Crawford get 2 starts in 5 days. I'm thinking maybe there's a little more to that. And plus, not to mention with something you and I talked about the other day with Mason Wynn leading off against a righty and then the next day being dropped down to 8th in the lineup. So kind of head scratcher with that too.
Yeah, I think that might have been about his wrist. But again, we're not there. Nobody's asking the questions about these kinds of things, or at least it's not being reported. So we're just kind of out there in the wind trying to figure it out. But my point of the DH was not to say it has to be either or. If Crawford's hitting 500, play him, but it doesn't have to be at shortstop.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying there. Cardinals are back at home at Busch Stadium, so maybe in front of the pesky St. Louis media, somebody will put some fingers in some chests of the Cardinals front office and management today and ask those tough questions when the team meets again after what a three city road trip that they just went on, their longest road trip of the season. They come out of that, and it's the Rockies tonight. More on the game in just a little bit. I do want to mention this. Major League Baseball yesterday has finally put up their all-star voting for the 2024 All-Star Game here in about 6 weeks down in Arlington, Texas. Ryan Helsley, I think as of right now, as we sit here on June 6th, I think we can sit here and assume that Ryan Helsley is for sure going to be representing the team as long as he's healthy here when we get there. My question is, any possibility of a second guy right now? And I want to bring up the name of Nolan Gorman, who is third amongst all second basemen in Major League Baseball when it comes to OPS, number 1 in home runs, actually second in the National League overall when it comes to hitting home runs. Batting average isn't where you like it to be, but Nolan Gorman is putting up a very good season despite what we might think with our own eyes watching him day in and day out.
I didn't know we were going to talk about this. I would have done the research, believe it or not. I don't know what the comps say.
As far as what he's up against?
Yeah, well, you're asking me who I would vote for, I guess.
Oh, why? Well, I mean, he right now, OPS wise at second base, he is number 2 or he is number 3 of all second basemen right now in Major League Baseball. He is behind Ketel Marte of the Diamondbacks and Michael Massey of the Kansas City Royals, each of them about 20 points higher than him in OPS, but he does lead the way in home runs with 14. Ketel Marte behind him with 12 right now. So
yeah, again,
he's up there as far. Yeah,
I love Gorman. I just want to look at the comps. What are all the other things?
He does have to go. Luis Ariz is also in the National League too, so he's not winning the vote.
If I could only pick one, I got to vote for Ariz.
Yeah, and if you're also talking popular vote, you got to think he has the Padres vote, he's got the Marlins vote, and he's got any other random baseball fan that just looks at numbers as far as the vote goes too. But as far as just representing the team itself,
what else is there?
I'm just wondering. I'm not saying about starter. I'm not talking starter. I'm just saying what he's done so far compared to other second basemen. I wonder if he does get tapped for that
maybe
with what he does, especially if you look at what he did on this recent road trip. If he continues that, if he continues that over the next month and continues on this kind of tear, then it might be hard to dispute.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can root for that because he has been very good lately.
I was on with another radio station earlier today, Rammer, one that is not the call letters right behind your right shoulder. So
you messed up.
Invite me on and I'll say it. I've never turned on a radio interview in the past 15 years, Rammer, and I'm not going to start today.
Okay.
But what the question? One of the questions that was brought up to me is kind of my thoughts on Nolan Gorman. We talked about Nolan Gorman a little bit. I don't know if the team right now knows really what they have in him offensively and what to expect, because they want him to be a number 3 hitter. They want him to be that middle of the order guy, but too many times we're seeing those strikeout numbers just, the strikeout numbers aren't going down, and I don't know if you can trust him in that top 3 in the lineup.
Well, certainly it's all relative to the other pieces you have to go 1 through 9. What else do you have? There are some teams in Major League Baseball right now that with his exact numbers, he would be by far their best player, and you'd hit him 3rd or 2nd even. But if you've got a really good offense with his current numbers, he's probably no higher than 4 and probably more likely 5 or 6. Again, depending on who else you have to put into a lineup. I think that for the near future, meaning this year, maybe next, barring some sort of hitting epiphany, that I think this is a 240, 250 guy that can hit 30 plus homers. And depending on the people around him, 75 to 100 RBIs. That's a lot to ask from where he is right now, but I think those are reasonable high goals. When he's 28 or 29, will he evolve as a hitter and be much better than that? Maybe.
The Cardinals tonight have Sonny Gray on the mound for their first of 4, going up against Cal Quantrill, 4-4 on the year with a 3.84 ERA. The former first-round pick has struggled in the major leagues after kind of a fast track up there several years ago. Now on his 3rd team with the Rockies, son of former major leaguer Paul Quantrill, who I thought I remembered from his days with the Seattle Mariners, and turns out he played for 7 teams. None of them were the Seattle Mariners.
Your expectation was that he would end up there.
Probably, yeah. I think so. But he played a lot of different places, never made it up there to the Northwest. So we will see how Sonny Gray does tonight in game 1 of 4. Rammer, not sure if you saw it last night, but on Tuesday, the Cardinals will see Paul Skeens pitch at Busch Stadium. His outing yesterday against the Dodgers, I don't know if you had a chance to see, somehow Pirates-Dodgers was the game of the night. Yeah. Ended up being one of the the more fascinating games last evening in baseball. He struck out Shohei his first at-bat. Shohei took him dead center for about 460 in his second at-bat. But the thing that was the most eye-opening to me, I don't know if you had a chance to see Shohei Ohtani's at-bat against Aroldis Chapman in the 9th.
No.
Rammer, it looked like you or I standing up there against Aroldis Chapman in the 9th. Yes. He looked mortal, I think, for the first time in his career, and did not look like he wanted to step into a batter's box against Aroldis Chapman.
Yeah, Chapman's just, as he's gotten older, is just more inconsistent. But he still has those games, those days when he's on, and he looks fantastic.
Yeah, it's definitely a video to go find and to watch if you have the chance of Shohei facing Aroldis Chapman last night. Rammer, that's going to do it for our show today. We'll hopefully back tomorrow talking about the first of a 4-game winning streak against the Rockies on tomorrow's show. And as always, we'll be brought to you by Munganast St. Louis Acura and also Royal Banks.
Royal Banks of Missouri. Don't forget about you folks out there looking for agricultural loans. If you raising livestock, you've got a farm going, whatever you need, the ag part of what Royal Banks does is a key part of what they do. St. Charles County, the east side, northeast Missouri. Those are the folks. Don't forget to include Royal Banks when you're looking for the loan you need. 314 royalbanksofmo.com. It's royalbanksofmo.com to get involved.
He is Bob Ramsey. I'm Joe Roderick. This has been another edition of Daily Cards Live right here on Claves Online. Brought to you as always by Munganast St. Louis Acura and Royal Banks. And we will talk to you tomorrow.
Munganess St. Louis Acura is making room for the 2025 MDX, so that means great deals for you on the 2024 MDX. We have over 100 2024 MDX models in stock, and you get financing as low as 3.9% for up to 60 months. Or you can lease a new MDX for just $559 per month for 36 months. Or get the MDX technology model for just $589 per month for 36 months. Munganess St. Louis Acura, better than ever for you.